Oh, there's Omar. Okay, that's who we were waiting for. Excellent. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for hanging in here today. As you can see, we have a new face on the screen right now. We have Rhonda Payne, who's going to be presenting on around brand positioning and kind of product life cycle. Now, Rhonda's a Fanshawe educator, instructor, professor. And I'm not going to do the big old, standard introduction. I just want to say, listen to Rhonda and everything she said, because you will go far in life if you do that. So, and in your business. So, without any further ado, Rhonda, thank you so much for joining us. Very happy that you could be part of Leap In this year.
Yeah.
I want to make sure we get as much as time possible, so you can take it away.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. And thank you, David and Kelsey, for having me. I'm always excited to talk to new entrepreneurs. So this is a really, really exciting time. And I talk with entrepreneurs all the time. I'm constantly interviewing them and finding out what works and what hasn't worked. And, from the time I was very young, my dad would always say to us, every year, once a year, you got to take a rich person to lunch. And when you take a rich person to lunch, you just sit back and be quiet and learn to ask questions, but just really, really listen. So I've been listening to very successful people for a long time. And of course, my family has started many businesses. I've started a business with an engineering partner, which I'm going to explain a little bit about why partnerships can be a really good thing, that later sold to Boeing. So we've had a lot of fun over the years, building businesses and trying new things. And so I really want to tell you from experience today what I find has worked and what I find has not worked. And so this is a safe environment. But at the same time, I'm going to tell you things I really like about your business. And then I'm going to tell you some things that I think you need to think about for your business. And of course, you as the entrepreneur and the CEO, you get to decide, right? If you want to take my advice or not. But I just want today to be about thinking. And sometimes entrepreneurs, sometimes existing business people really struggle to find the time to think. So they fall in love with something and they start running with it. And I love that. That's passion. But after a while, like every runner, right? You got to take a breath. You got to walk for a little bit. You got to think. You got to observe your surroundings, which is your competitive environment. And then you got to kind of rejig, maybe take a turn. So that's about keeping your business going and becoming successful. So in the early stages, I really want to find a way to help you think about your positioning of your product. So there's a big world out there and there's lots of competition out there. And so to me, there's different models, different teachers use different theoretical models. And I have broken many of those models. So if you've heard of Porter's 5 forces over the years, threat of substitution and intense rivalry amongst existing competitors. Do the buyer have the power? Does the seller have the power? And basically those models are great, but they were developed in the 70s. And I always say now it's, they're just not overly useful anymore. So if you create something that is progressively unique, you can enter, you can win. And that's what I want to help you find out today is how to think about things that are progressively unique. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. You're going to see a busy title bar desktop. I found many of your websites. Some of them I couldn't really find, so I'm happy to take your questions. So I want to just kind of dive in and talk about some theoretical models. I want to give you an opportunity to see an example of a company that raised $700,000. 150 of it came from me, and I'm still waiting for the product, and that's 2.5 years later. So to me, that's $150 gone that I'm never going to get back. But that's okay. The product is really what I want to focus on, and how they went to market is what I want to focus on, mistakes included. So are we ready to get going? Okay, no yawning, no sleeping. This time does not come with a pillow, okay? Right on. Okay, so you can see I got a bunch of stuff going on. And this is a really fun exercise, and I just threw a blank slide up there. So I hope you can see this. Everybody can see this okay? Okay, so what I want you to think about is when you start a business, most people don't create something that is brand new. They create something that's better than what's available today. And that's the really important thing. And so I've done this exercise for many years with every client, whether it's Boeing, Raytheon, small businesses, you name it, I do it. And it's a fun thing to do. And one year someone stumped me and they said, well, Rhonda, I don't know, like what about mini putt? How do you innovate mini putt? And I said, well, let's take a run at it. So the first thing I always like to do, and you guys should do this for your business. So what is it? And if it exists today, then describe what it is. Well, kids, mini putt. It is, it's fake. It's for play, right? It's cement and turf, right? Just write down everything it is. And when you do the what is it not, then I tell the entrepreneur in waiting, do the opposite. Adults, fake, it's real. Is it for play? No, it's for practice. Right? Is it cement and turf? No, it's grass and bunkers, right? Like whatever. So at the end of the day, this guy actually started this business out in Calgary. He took the concept of an indoor driving range, that same square footage, and all around he's built real sand traps, real greens, because he determined, you know what, his love of golf, but in Canada, winter kind of gets in the way of really enjoying the sport. And people who really love to play golf love to do it all year round. And where they lose their strokes is not in driving, but it's in chipping and putting. And so he took the concept of mini golf, and I said, just innovate it. Do the absolute opposite that you know that's there. Don't make it for kids, make it for adults. Don't make it for play, make it for practice. Don't use things that are like fake and cartoonish. Make it real. And you have something. Now, the guys that developed 10 trees did the same thing. Two guys from Western. They did the what is it not? And everybody looked at this and thought, well, okay, it's cheap, China, it's corporate profits, it's, you know, they just did all this stuff. It's a t-shirt. And then they did the absolute opposite. Well, what's cheap? Expensive. What's the opposite of China? You know, homemade. Corporate profits, corporate social responsibility, a give, if you will. Oh, can't spell. And then what's a t-shirt? Well, it's more than just a t-shirt, right? It's the brand, it's the expansion. And out of that came 10 Tree. So every time you buy a shirt, a hat, shorts, they will plant 10 trees. And this just took off. And by the way, it's going to be the most expensive t-shirt you buy. And they made no apology for it. So when you take what it is and you innovate and you do the absolute opposite, don't come out with a t-shirt that's just near and like, don't come out with something that is a little more expensive than cheap. Be something that is going to, you know, really give a punch. Because one thing we know about buyers today and the consumer is they have no problem, right? Where's my Under Armour? Giving the Under Armour logo a shout out, or a 10 Tree logo that basically says, yeah, I spent 35 bucks on a t-shirt. So we wear our pride, we wear our social causes today. And so if you're tying in some clothing into your brand, make it stand for something and make it expensive, because people will care about that. Okay, people care about it, believe it or not. So what I like to get people just thinking, get those creative juices going. What is it? What is it not? And really try to innovate. And I did that when I stumbled upon the hot sauce company. I did it when I stumbled upon, what other one did I do here? The face-to-face vintage. I hope you're online this morning. I did it when I took a look at Soul Runners and got excited. Matter of fact, yesterday I was talking to David about Soul Runners. So I was pretty excited about that one. Taxably, I hope you're online today, because I've taken a hard look at you too. What is it and what is it not? And so I really think if you keep thinking like that, I think that that keeps you being innovative and bettering what's always out there. So that's my first slide for you. Now, my second slide really takes a look at the product life cycle. And I'm a big person, I'm a big believer in applied learning. So I like to take these models and absolutely apply them. So when I think about the industry, I like to think about, where is the industry? Is the industry in a mature phase? Is the industry in a growth phase? How do I know the difference between the two? And to me, if the industry is outpacing GDP, it's in the growth phase. So if you see a market that's growing at 5%, would you say that's in the growth phase? Well, by today's standards, yes. If, on the other hand, if I don't see the right word in that category description, then I see lots of competitors out there, then the model's basically going to tell me that it's in the mature product lifecycle phase. So when you launch your business, this is the important piece here, you're going to be new. You have a high cost per customer, right? You are looking for people that are going to want to try something new. You're going to be thinking that there are few or no competitors to you. And in reality, if you slide over, when you're looking at a shelf space and you see that there are a lot of competitors out there, then jump down to here, because you better be differentiated. You better sit and think really hard and long about what is it not. Because you're going to face people that have transitioned from a high cost per customer, and then this little line happens here, and then they transition to a low cost per customer. So they have scale, they have brand awareness, they have market experience, they have existing customers. So when you're up against that, and you can win, believe me, who would have thought that Under Armour should start a clothing business with Nike and Adidas? But they did. So, you know, and they won, but they won because they were highly differentiated. So when you think about this, this tells me offer a basic product. And I say to my entrepreneurs, offer no more than four SKUs, 4 variations of your product. So if your basic product is tequila, then no more of 3 versions of that product. Okay, don't come out with too much. So if you think today about the craft beer industry and how many brands people come out with, instantly, it's a mistake. It's just, very simply put, it's a mistake. And when you look at how hard it is to make money in that business, why would you be coming out with 7 or 8, 9 different variations of your craft beer? You don't have any brand recognized. Now, the guys that started Steam Whistle back in the day, they created a craft beer, and it was one product. That's it, one really good craft beer. Now, they have since been bought out. So I want you to think about that, like no more than 4. Okay, no more than 4 different variations of offering of your product class should you go to market with. Now, I'm going to show you a company that made this mistake, and I still believe they are paying the price. Okay, so I'm going to close this window for a second. So, actually, I'm going to show it to you. This company, well, I'll show you my slides. I'll show you what I thought of them after I show you this. Everybody still see that? One-man band. So I hope there's some guitar players out there. Okay, if David's moderating, if you see some thumbs up, are there guitar players out there? A couple, 2, 3. Oh.
I can't see everybody. Let's see, anybody?
I see Charlene's got her hand up right on.
Okay.
Okay, so they initially went to market to raise $50,000. And at the time I studied them, they had raised $500,000 on Kickstarter. Today, they are at over $700,000. So this is quite a Kickstarter success. But I want you to do a couple of things. Everything I see, I observe. So I'm just not driving down the street seeing things. I observe everything. I take notes on everything. When I watch a new commercial for the first time, I think, who is the target market? So everything to a marketer. And when you train the brain as a muscle, this muscle will begin to think that way. It will just become natural to you. So I want you to really think about everything you see in this video, but I'm going to play a few minutes of it.
We're a one-man band, creators of the OMB Guitar Toolkit. OMB adds an amazing new dimension to playing guitar with automatic playback, instrument swapping, and a guitar to MIDI connection. Before we explain the magic behind it, check out how guitarists experience it for the first time.
So it's this device. Should I play?
Can I play it? Interesting. I think the sound's having trouble coming through, Rhonda.
No sound?
Oh, there we go. Did you click the share computer sound when you hit the share button? You can hear it a little bit, but that was a little better.
Was that a little bit? I didn't touch anything.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just from your mic relaying back.
No, it's because I think you were on mute while the music was playing, so I think the audio was coming through the speaker, like the microphone.
I don't believe I'm on mute. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. If when you hit share screen, there's a little checkbox that comes at the bottom. So if you unshare this and then hit reshare, then you'll be able to click a little box comes up at the bottom that says share computer sound, and then we should be able to hear it better.
Let me see this here. Share computer sound. Okay. Well, just look at me this morning, eh? Apologize for that.
That's okay. Much better.
I'm going to back it up just a few seconds here.
Okay. Yeah, this is fun.
No. That's mad. That's very cool.
Okay, so a neat product, zero latency. So the minute you move your fingers on the fret, it will play with you. You don't really have to constantly look down at your pedal and press your pedal. But it is a pedal, and there's a device that goes on to that guitar. And this has just taken people to another level. And to think that you came out with a pledge of $50,000 you needed to make, and you've raised over $700,000 taking this product to market. So I want to talk about taking the product to market. So let's go back. So if the model says offer a basic product, well, this is what they went to market with. So I have just watched that video I am super excited about the product. I hit buy it, and then it takes me to this. It says, well, do you want the OMB guitar with the app and 50 credits? Do you want the Guitar Pro? Do you want the Guitar and Pedal Pro? Do you want the Guitar Pedal Pro and app? Do you want the acoustic pedal? Do you want the, all of a sudden, I'm confused. It goes from $149 to $699. There's nothing basic about 8 SKUs. And in fact, at first it stopped me, because now as a new buyer, as an innovator, I got to spend a lot of time doing homework and figuring out, okay, well, what am I buying? What is it that they have on their guitar? Is what they played the 149? Because that's what I want. Or is it the 449? Is that what it is? So all of a sudden I got a hold of them and said, you guys, it's way too much. You've gone to market with too many SKUs. It's confusing. So instead of them transacting, people are going to bounce, that term we use in marketing that says they're going to go to your site, they're going to watch the video, they're going to get excited, and then they're going to bounce, they're going to leave you. So I went to them and said, look, here's how I positioned your product. Now, for me, when I think about a product positioning and what their advantage is, some people look at an X and Y axis, and they usually have price and they have quality. And everybody thinks they have the right price and right quality mix. And I always say, okay, well, you're measuring 2 things. So I want you to think about measuring 4 things. I want you to think about what the customer really wants. That could be 5 or 6 different things. For sure, it should be 2 to 3 things. So I looked at the industry and I said, wow, you guys are going to face some headwinds, because the market for single instrument pedals is very flooded. And they're roughly $129.99 to $149. And I don't know about sound, but these guys, OMB, they are a multi-instrument, high quality sound. Never mind 0 latency and it plays with you and all of that. It is, let's just get to your hard positioning. You are multi-instrument and high quality. So Beat Buddy, if you Google Beat Buddy, they have a single instrument here, and they're trying to offer something else, but the sound quality is middle of the road. This Digitech Trio is actually multi-instrument and fairly decent quality. If they move a little bit over here, if they just spend a little bit, then you've got a real competitor on your tail. This one over here, instrument, or this Artefon, it's plastic. It looks like something I would buy a kid to drag around, like my 3-year-old would drag around the house. It just looks cheap. And what did we see in the video? We saw real guitar players. We saw 2 women and how many guys? 7. We saw every one of those guitar players that were trying it were surrounded by at least 2 to 3 guitars. They didn't look like a beginner to me. So when you understand your positioning and then you understand who you're targeting, you can see that Artefon has a long way to go if they're going to come near to catching you as a product, as a service. Why offer 50 credits? You know, I mean, it just made no sense to me as a strategist. So again, I come back to my chart and I think, okay. So offer a premium price, they offered too many. It's a high-tech, unsought product. So you should have a higher price, right? When I think of a high-tech, unsought, so is the product sought or unsought? And if it's unsought, then it's just something people want because they want it and they can afford it, and why not? So is the complexity and tacit nature of know-how, I'm going to go into that a little bit later, but is the product complex? And if it is, then adjust for it. So your distribution, your place is going to be build exclusive or build selective. So initially, you got to get really tight, right? So, and I don't care if it's a product or a service. So I can take a service like Soul Runner, and I can apply this model. And I got some great place ideas for you. I could take this concept with the hot sauce company and think, wow, Remark, Sunripe, Farm Boy, very niche, very expensive, very high end. You're missing one word. Well, you're maybe missing a couple, but I want to, and I'll go into that a little bit later. So I'm kind of making sure you're not sleeping. But when you think about if the market is mature, then how are you entering that market? What is it? What is it not? And if you can think about differentiation, whether it's a service you're differentiating or whether it's the product, differentiate it. Just absolutely think about it, right? Now, I went and looked at a whole bunch of hot sauces, everything from Slap Your Mama to, you know, outrageous to evil to these names that are just extravagant. And I think to myself, craft beer. Craft beer brands did the exact same thing. If I come out with flying monkeys, okay, that'll work. That's what we call a bit of a gimmick. So when I think about the hot sauce company, I think your tagline should be, you know, no fancy titles, just sauce, right? No fancy titles, just taste it, right? In other words, make those other guys that think of creating fancy, you know, flying monkeys or Slap Your Mama, or okay, that's a novelty idea. It's easy to replicate. What's inside is all that matters. And just be really honest about that, because that's your marketing. It's what's inside that really matters, right? Check out our recipes, which is something I think you need to add. So when you think about SKUs, what you're offering, some of it is a product that at a fee, and then some of it is wrapped in services that say, hey, this is how I want you to think about us. Enjoy us, participate with us. So it doesn't matter if it's a product or a service, but I look at this chart with every client and I try and think about the things I control. And there's 4 things that you as an owner control: product, place, price, and promotion. And then there's these things that, these are the controllables. And then there's these things called the uncontrollables that I can't control. I can't control my competitors. I can't control my customers and if they want to change or try something else. Remember, I was looking for an innovator and I wanted them to try me. So maybe they'll try the next new guy that comes along too, or gal. So you got to determine this. But one thing happens here, so that I want you to be aware of. You go from high cost per customer from the intro to the growth phase of your business. But when you hit the mature phase, everything becomes a low cost per customer. So you got to have scale. You've got to have your product out into so many markets. You've got to have this growth. So growing your business is always hard, because if you grow too quickly, you're going to get a cash crunch. And I've seen many businesses that didn't make it because they had too much growth. And believe me, it happens. So you're going to go from this, and the guy that wrote the book is a guy by the name of Jeffrey Moore in 1994, and it's still valid today. It's called Crossing the Chasm. And what he's talking about is here, from growth to maturity, to go from high cost per customer to a low cost per customer is a chasm to cross. And he's basically saying that you go through this thing called the tornado, and between growth and mature phase, not everybody comes out in the tornado. So a lot of companies get bought up, and a lot of people want to get bought up. That's their end strategy. But a lot of people go through it and they think, well, how am I going to do it? Well, at here, the model says for your products, if you're entering the growth phase, you better have more differentiation and you better start to diversify brands and models, right? So think about that. Where can I go from here? What other product can I create to make, to expand? Because that's what the product says to do. And if you have a low cost per customer and you have brand awareness, then you should be able to price match or beat competitors. So clue, if this is where the market is for some of you, then you're entering with a high price, premium price here. And your competitor can quickly come out with a price match or beat you. So companies need to do this. Here's what we do, and here's how we do it. That's low cost per customer. Reduce your cost to sell it and reduce your cost to make it. Something that is standardized, okay? However, for you, here's what we do, here's how we do it, here's why we do it. That's the connection piece. is the why. Here's why we do it. Here's why we get up every day and do this, because our passion. And each one of you has displayed your passion for all the websites that I've seen. You're saying why you started this business. I want, and many of you have said, I want to change the world. Now that I'm paraphrasing, but many of you, I saw the world in your story statement. So I want to dial that back a little bit, because you're not there yet. And don't confuse your audience. Let them resonate with you. Let them know that this is really something that is, here's what we do, here's how we do it, and here's why we do it. Why we do it, right? There is a growing number, the obesity rate in this country is growing, and I'm not happy about it. The amount of judging a book by its cover goes on in this country, and I'm not happy about it. And I think anybody can learn to run. I think anybody can walk, run. I think anybody can walk, run, and skip. So I don't care about your age. You know, most people don't want to run with a runner because they feel out of shape. They feel they're holding somebody back. They feel you got to get into that psyche of that person that can't run, right? You got to get into their mind and know that they are afraid of looking stupid, that they're out of shape, people are going to laugh, they don't have the latest workout wear, because everything now is fashion. So when you crawl in the head of someone who doesn't run, and you can understand that emotional piece of here's what we do, here's how we do it, and this is why we do it, then if you can get that across, you win. I mean, you win. So I'm excited about that. I hope the guy from Eco Palm Leaves is on here today as well. Okay, good.
Are you here? Say hi.
Hi, I'm here.
Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, I got some questions for you, or maybe you've got some questions for me, but do you manufacture this in India?
Yes.
And are you a distributor, reseller, or do you own the manufacturing side?
I do not own, but I it's not called distributor, but I work with them, but they are the manufacturer. Like I don't own anything in manufacturing. It's sort of like a partnership if for selling products in Canada.
So you have the rights all across Canada?
I don't, because I'm still at the low scale, but I have already talked to them, but right now I don't have that much volume, so I just haven't been able to get there.
Okay, so you're not the only one in Canada.
No.
Okay, so you have a unique challenge. So you got to get what we call feet on street. And you got to rapidly expand in order to keep your place in the company's best interest. So we call that Jurassic. Kill, eat, kill, eat, kill, eat. And if you don't, then they don't need you.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show you why they need you. And I'm going to help you expand. So now I understand your offering a little better. So anyway, I'll come back to you.
Okay.
So let me grab another slide chart here for a second. So let's think about this. So this comes from Hollinson's Global Marketing book. This is in most MBA schools across Canada now. So I've been using Hollinson for 10 years. And he and I have had about three conversations. And I always look at this one and I think, okay, so if your product is highly standardized and your competitors have global brands, then their strategy is this: lower my cost to make it and lower my cost to sell it. I don't like the term low cost. I like the term of lower or lowering. So you got to think with those two strategies in mind. If you're making something that is standardized, like soup, then you will be thinking about how can I lower my cost to make it? And then how can I lower my cost to sell it? On the other hand, if you're localized and you're differentiated, then guess what? You have, as long as you can meet your local customer and you're flexible and you're close, now this can be proximity or culturally, but you're close and you're flexible and you have access to the local market, you win. Now, for the eco leave guy, that company, that organization that makes it, they need you. And by them not guaranteeing you anything, they're going to say, okay, whoever hits the ball out of the park first wins. They'll win the business. Or maybe they'll have each of you competing with each other. So if you have different language in your contract, I would ask to, give me an area, give me a territory, give me Ontario for a year, and I will, make a guarantee or something. Like, you got to get a bit of an area to cultivate, a territory to cultivate. If they won't give you that, then you're up against making an investment into your business and allowing other people to come in with an eco palm leaf product. So I'd be a little bit worried about that when I looked at that site. So just, again, try and get them to give you a territory that you can develop and invest in, because you're going to spend money. Feet on street requires you to be out selling and finding distribution. Okay, so I just want you to think about that.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so to me, if I think about lower, if I think about how highly differentiated I am, then that allows me to go back to this chart. So again, you can see it. I even got it here because it's really super important to me. But to me, I look at this chart and I think, how difficult or easy is it? Here it is, my competitors to respond. How difficult or easy is it for your competitor to respond? Now, if your competitors are big brands, believe me, it's hard for them to respond because they're not tooled that way. They're thinking standardized. They're thinking lower my cost to make it, low cost per customer. They're thinking like that. You are just, you're kind of a mosquito, right? You're just annoying. And until you really take their market share away or really create a following, you're just an annoyance, right? So if you're the hot sauce guy and there's big brands out there of hot sauce, you're annoying to them. And they're not going to change for you because you're not that much of a threat. And that's the arrogance of a big company. They're focused on lower my cost to make it and lower my cost to sell it, period. They have a production orientation. We're just going to pump it out, pump it out, pump it out. So what I want you to think about is place. If you offer price and place and you're basically convenient, you have a low source of market strength, you have low profit, you can't be much more than out of this quadrant. And you really have obviously a low competitive advantage. So this is your starting place. Many of us, this is our starting place. But if you come out with something that's new, well, you can see new has a very long continuum here. So you might come out with something that's really progressively unique, and that's going to put you somewhere here. Now, if it's a product that's got a patent, well, then it's going to give you some opportunity. But suffice to say that the bigger you get, a lot of us live in this, what's coming next? What's coming next? You're always going to have to be thinking about product development, service development, right? Keep thinking about that because it continues to be a little bit of a challenge for your competitor to always be responding. So instead of you keeping pace, you actually start to set the pace. And this was the interesting thing when I worked with Farm Boy a number of years ago to expand them out of the Ottawa Valley and bring them to London, to go from 19 stores to 30 stores. And my students and myself, we worked on that. We worked on place. So when you can see that competition is forcing you to expand, try adding 5 S's onto places. So if you're one place, okay, you got to be convenient. You got to be right place, right time kind of deal. But when you start to add S's, now your place is, and I don't care what product you have. I don't care if you have a whole store that you're trying to expand, like Farm Boy, places, more stores, right? But by the time they had 35 stores, Sobeys came in and bought them for $800 million. They paid over $30 million per store to buy that brand, to buy a fresh market concept, not a grocery store, but a fresh market concept. So again, positioning is really important. We told Farm Boy very early on, you're not in the grocery business. We sell groceries. you're in the fresh market concept business, right? You can't buy toilet paper, Kleenex, paper towels, cleaning products, dog food. Can't buy that at Farm Boy. You want that stuff? Go to No Frills. All you can get at Farm Boy is fresh. And they may have only 2 or 3 freezers for Farm Boy ice cream, but are they in the frozen food business? Like, can you get a Michelinas at Farm Boy? Not a chance. So when you know what it is you really do, then we never compared them to the grocery stores. We compared them to fresh market concept, like Unger's in Toronto, Remark, Sunripe. You look at this growing trend to eat well, be well, live well. Farm Boy it's all about timing. So a lot of us are going to live in this place of coming out with something new, because place is really about convenience. However, when you add S's, now that starts to creep me this way. So, this is what I was saying to David last night when I was talking about Soul Runner. There's 8 million people in a 2-hour drive, southwestern Ontario, Highway 401, 403, 402 corridor. There is parks and green spaces coming alive in Ontario. And I think COVID is just a blessing for many businesses today, right? It's a blessing. So it's hurting some for sure. But when I look at a company like Soul Runner, I think, wow, what a great opportunity for you. People want to get out there. People want to learn to do this. We're all gaining, there was different people on different blogs that said they have gained the pandemic pounds from being at home, working at home, not going to the gym. Everybody's baking more. Our consumption of bread is up, and the Lay's potato chip company is probably doing very well this year with the pandemic pounds, because every time I go, I know I come home with at least 2 bags of chips. So we are kind of indulging ourselves in this period of stay at home for the last 4 months. So people do now want to get out and they want to go into these groups. So if you think of London to Woodstock you could have a different running group in all these little communities. And that to me is places. And then once your beginners turn into proficient runners, then they become your area captains. And they run the little community for you, and they get people out as beginners. And then every now and again, you as the founder, you get out there and run with people. And it becomes this sense of community. And I really like that. And you can have a social cause. So when I think of Teresa Carrier, she founded One Run, and she runs 100 kilometers in a day. She's a breast cancer survivor, and she's at all these schools every year getting kids to run and raise money. And she's donated over $1 million to cancer care in London. And I can't help but think of her, and you should know her. I don't know if you know her or not, but I think you should know her, because to me, if you can tie into her cause, then people kind of believe that. And a lot of women are going to be people that will want to run with you. Just like we saw with the guitar company, I said, did you notice that the majority of people who play guitar are men? And that's just the reality of it. And Fender saw an issue with this. Fender, when you target men or you target women, the problem is you've just left half your market. And that's hard. That's really hard. So Fender said, well, what can I do? Like, what can we do that would maybe attract, look at this, I'm just going to query on the fly here, Fender, I'm positive I've seen this here, so let me just go and find it for you. Oh, okay, hang on for a second. You can tell, like, when I think, I just go and my brain thinks and I think, oh, I've done that before, I've seen it before, and then I want to go find it for you. So let me, Here we go. So Fender, one of the leading guitar companies, partnered with Hello Kitty to get girls interested in playing guitar. I mean, think about that. And I asked every guy one day, would you buy a pink Hello Kitty guitar? No chance. Would you buy the black and white Hello Kitty guitar? No, not really. But would a girl buy it? And the answer is yeah. And how do we get more girls to play guitar? Why do girls always sign up for piano and guys want to rock it out with a guitar? So when you know your market is predominantly leaning to one gender, you've just alienated. I mean, that's hard. That's really hard to do. Overcome that. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that it will have you thinking about things to do. Okay, I've done that. Oh, well, as I was prepping to talk to some of you today, I'm going to jump back now. The wait is over, hot sauce. Look at this. This is hot off the press. This is April of 2020. Now, if I were you, I'd be sending my hot sauce to this team. We think of ourselves as crazy in a good way. So they ranked all the hot sauces. Best rated hot sauce. $9. Habanero aardvark. I don't know what an aardvark has to do with hot sauce.
Just a unique brand.
Yep. Brand. Best rated, less expensive. Have you seen this article?
I have not.
Satan's blood. Well, that's just disgusting. Best one drop. Well, this is what David and I were talking about, that I'd love you to add to your website, because if it's one drop, that's going to take me all year. That's going to go bad in my fridge before I use it all. So when you're selling a product, you've got to give people, add a tablespoon of this to your chicken, add a tablespoon of this to your homemade, like you got to give them recipes, because you love spice. Well, you can spice up not just eggs, but I mean, put this into X amount, like give them the recipes, show some videos. You know, creating new content is, Google will reward it, and they love new, fresh content. But if all it takes is one drop, that's a going out of business plan right there, right? You need people to use, add a couple of tablespoons to your chicken, right? I mean, cook with it, expand with it. Think of, I mean, you're the hot sauce guru. Mad Dog, again, right?
I own that one.
You own this one?
Yep. It's an additive. It's extremely hot and no flavor. I've had it for 10 years.
Wow. What's the 357 about?
Like a gun, 357 Magnum.
Okay.
Doesn't make any sense, right?
No, I think it means something to you, which is great. I just looked at it and went, what the heck is that all about, Mad Dog? But you know, the good news is 4.6 stars. How did you not know when you made it into their magazine? How did you not know that?
Oh no, sorry. I don't own it. I own the sauce, the bottle of sauce. Like I bought that sauce before. It's not mine.
Oh, okay. I thought.
Sorry. I have a very wide collection of sauces, and that's
Okay.
one of the ones in my collection.
Hang on, I gotta take a sip of my coffee here. That just kind of, I went, you're the maker of this? Like, okay.
No, sorry.
That's okay. But the point is, you know, I find these things and I learn from everybody. Look at this. best carrot-based hot sauce. That sounds like new product development to me. Queen Majesty. I mean, really? You think the Queen would do that? Yellowbird. I still don't get the Yellowbird. So anyway, there's lots here. But I love this article. It's really well done. And that's what you need. You need to get this product into the hands of people who judge. And that's what I would recommend you do. And on your homepage, I would recommend that you just be honest. I mean, I would say there's no fancy name here. It's taste it, right? I mean, you gotta show people that you're doing the absolute opposite to, slap your mama and all this nonsense names. And it is just simply, the taste is all that matters. And it's in this bottle, right? Something that basically puts down anybody without saying it, without putting anybody down, of course. Just doing the opposite is going to get the attention, right? Now, are you a plastic bottle or are you a glass bottle?
Glass.
Does plastic do something to the sauce? Or does the sauce do something to the plastic?
You can get food grade plastics that would be fine, wouldn't leach in or anything like that. I went with glass just with the whole recyclable, all natural kind of movement. That's just kind of what resonated.
Yeah, I totally agree with it. The majority of competitors that I see all use glass, and I wondered, it will add to your shipping cost.
That's the one downside, is it's extremely expensive to ship.
Okay. But if, on the other hand, if you're not going through a distributor that wants to make 100% markup, then, your shipping, right? Your shipping you can absorb your shipping cost.
I do. I do a flat fee of $10 anywhere in Ontario, and I eat the rest.
Okay. So something to think about. Okay. I'm going to come back to you. So let me go back to this chart here. So one of the things I want you guys to think about, and I always show this one, I could show you the Farm Boy one, but it's a big analysis. So I want to just keep it simple. So I like value curves. When I think about studying my competitors, I like to study them. So in some of those hot sauces, Jesse, that I looked at, I thought if you could change the word, if you could change one word, let me just go back here for a second. I hope I still have it up here. I had a bunch of things up. Learn to run. I'm going to come to you face to face. I got to do you yet. Well, I went and found an article or some research from Statista, Taxably, and Statista says that in the sauce market is pretty much, I think I would read it as mature. However, if your sauce was organic, then the organic sauce and food industry is anywhere from 9% growth rate a year. Now, sauces on Statista said it was at a growth rate of 5%. So 5% growth in a market that doesn't have 5%, that's in the growth phase. So that tells me that people are very much interested in organic. Is it vegan? Is it gluten-free? If it is, then these are really things that people care about, right? Even people that aren't celiac are going gluten-free because they feel better. And then this product of yours reduces blood pressure. Like, there's benefits. You say there's benefits, but then don't list any. And I was interested, so I had to Google, what are the benefits of spice? And there's lots of benefits to spice. And that should be front and center as well. And nobody else is stating that there's benefits, but we know there's benefits. So if your product can be organic or is organic, when I looked at your ingredient list on the back of your bottle, oh, here's one thing I said to David, sugars. Now it's very low on your list, but then you got bracket honey. So sugars is plural and honey isn't. So is there anything sugary in that besides honey?
That formatting is just the new Canadian standard of how they want you to display your sugars. You put sugars and then in brackets what sugars that are in your bottle. I'm actually
Sure.
switching. I've switched all my recipes to brown sugar to be vegan.
Okay.
So I'm making new labels right now for all that kind of stuff, and I've revamped my recipes. And
Big thumbs up. I like what you're doing. I like what you're doing. You don't even need my advice. You
no,
can,
yes, please,
you
please.
can grab a pillow, go get a coffee somewhere. Okay, so let's go back to this one now. Now this is really important, just because and I'm just going to tell you, I'm not a gamer. I say that to every client, every student. I do not care about Nintendo or PlayStation or Microsoft Xbox. Don't care. But what I do care about is what this model tells me. And I can tell by looking that this is Xbox and PlayStation. Don't care which one it is, but look at this. Hard to tell the difference. Minor difference. They're all over each other. Like, these are kind of like friends that should date, okay? And then you look at Nintendo, and when they came out, they said, not interested in CPU power, not interested in hard disk storage, not interested in high definition video, not interested in DVD, and not interested in connectivity. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 things they said, we have no interest in competing with Xbox and PlayStation. And I think, aha, that's an aha moment for me. So what is it and what is it not? You can clearly tell they did it. We do not want to do that. And guess what? By the way, we're going to be a little higher priced. So if anything, you slap the big boys with a higher price. And you should, because you've got to do cost recovery. You got to absorb the money that you've invested into R&D. And so you don't want to be a low cost or compare. You don't want to be in a 6 or a 7 on this chart. You just don't. You want to be an 8, 9, or 10 for high price. But look at over here. This is where they found their white space. Look at this. Uncontested market space right here. This is what we call blue ocean strategy. Is they said, there's nobody offering a motion controllable stick at that time. There was no one that offered a unique way to play an indoor sport or to play a video game and make it an indoor sport. And you know what, we're going to make it family oriented. We don't want, today you see kids with headsets in their room gaming online with friends till 3 in the morning, or, they said, we're not interested in that. So you can see here that they found the white space and said, we got 3 points of difference, not 5, because 5 is like, whoa, too confusing. 2 or 3 points of difference, POD, is what I really hope you find in each one of your businesses. 3 points of difference, 2 for sure, okay? Because then that goes back to that competition chart of how difficult or easy is it for your competitor to respond. So I just want you to think about that. And then it's also really, as much as it is to know how you can differentiate, it's really also super important to know how you can save costs. So they said no to CPU power. All of these things, the more features that you put in your product, the more features and benefits, the more it costs. So think about that. They said no to 5 things to keep their costs down, and they said yes to 3 things, and then they still went higher price than the Xbox and the PlayStation. To me, that is, I love it, right? That's how I want you entrepreneurs to think, okay? All right, so let's go. How are we doing out there? Everybody okay? Everybody still with me?
Got 10 minutes, Rhonda.
I think we got some thumbs
I
up.
didn't want the timer telling me. Gosh. Okay, where's Taxably? Where's Taxably today?
Suraj, you can unmic yourself.
Right here.
Okay, I want to see your face.
You might have to scroll a little bit at the top.
No, I'd rather you work harder. Okay, there we go. I see you. Nope. Yeah.
You see me now?
Here's what I want you to think about. You say on your homepage, affordable, accessible, sustainable. I see 3 things on your homepage like that, and I think those are your points of difference. People brag about how they are different. They brag about that. So I don't see it on your site. And then when I do read about you, then I get 3 other things: affordable, knowledgeable, and accessible. So I'm a little bit confused because I thought there was a process. I thought you did things a little bit differently. So I need to know, I want you to spell that out to your customer. To say that you're affordable, okay. Knowledgeable, I would hope my account is knowledgeable. So when we think about the hype cycle or the life cycle, there's things that I don't pay for. I personally believe that when I'm dealing with an accounting firm, that they are knowledgeable. That is a baseline for me, right? That is my baseline. So you got to be better than that, right? So accessible, okay. Last year, well, just let me go and find where I was reading about you here. So is this an app? Like, are you B2C or are you B2B?
It's B2C right now. We are trying to do B2B so that if you go to our services and file your tax, that's the plugin we're trying to make so that we can help other businesses who also do like accounting, income tax services to have them as an online presence as well through our platform.
Okay, so last year, according to Statista, of course, I went and did some research, and I think you should brag a little bit here or get some data in here. We believe time is more valuable than money. Okay, our mission is to redefine the process of filing income tax by making it more affordable. Redefine the process for filing. Online platform, building strong clientele relationships and getting communities involved with various, oh, here we go. Here's the world. So last year in Canada, 2 million people filed paper taxes. Last year in Canada, 26 million filings were done in total, of which 2 million were paper. So there is a move away from paper. I didn't realize this was a problem to solve, right? So to me, I'm obviously not understanding your positioning. That is this B2C or B2B? So if you can get the portal or the app or the engine that is behind this and said, okay, we can work with, then your positioning is we work with small income tax providers. So they have their customers and you are providing them your service, your engine, right, to file taxes. Is that what you do?
That's one of the things that we haven't got there yet. Right now, we are just like providing B2C services through our platform.
Okay. Would you agree to make this just a little more clear?
So yeah, so this platform that we have, so it allows you to submit all of your information to us very easily, so that you don't have to go and file your tax to an accountant. You can just do your work and everything, and we prepare everything, and you can also sign online as well through your email, which makes it much more easier. And we did 48 hours this year. Next year we will be trying to turn around point for 24 hours and it'll be done.
Cool. Okay. I want to learn more about, I mean, I'm happy to, through David, if I'm eager about this because I know a lot of firms. Do you think your target in the B2B is big accounting firms, or are you targeting little accounting firms?
I think like in my head, I thought that it was little accounting firms because like the big ones, they have the resources to make their own stuff, but if they use it, that's great. But I thought it was like more of like local firms because of COVID. a lot of people like not going into places and things like that. So if they can have an online presence, if we have the technology here, they can do we can do a subscription thing with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Is this your pop-up here?
I think so.
Yeah, it constantly pops up. I don't know if that's on a timer, but I thought it kind of annoyed me.
Okay.
Like while it's like, look, I'm trying to read and this pop-up keeps coming in. So I would ask, you might want to think about that.
Yes.
Best hot sauces. Okay, let me see. Where is, okay, where's my face-to-face vintage? Are you online?
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, this is very cool.
I actually did that as a school project.
Really?
So it wasn't like a business excursion like that I did for my business. It was more like a school project. So I'd love to hear your feedback.
That is awesome. I'll tell you, we did a big project this year. We, as in my employer rounds consultancy students, and we did the product, a big website for Worth, and they were anti-fast fashion, and everybody's into recycling their clothes. They're into, what do you call it when you go, I'm having a 50 moment here. When you go to the Goodwill and you go to the Talese.
Thrifting.
Thrifting. Jeez. Gosh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think. They're going to yank my phone. They're going to yank my plug in 8 minutes. So when I think of thrifting and people are interested in finding these kinds of things, and then it dawned on me. So I did a recording for you, but it didn't save. And my recording was this one. I don't know if you can see this, but this is Delta Airlines. And Delta Airlines created this model airplane in 2002 for the Winter Olympics that were in Salt Lake City. And of course, Delta's hub is in Salt Lake City. And most Zoom calls that I'm on, or WebEx calls with different aerospace companies that I still provide some thought leadership for, everybody, I can't tell you how many people have wanted to buy this model. It's rare. You can't find it. And I think total vintage. 2002 Winter Olympics, and everybody goes, wow, I want to buy that model airplane. And I think, well, can't buy it.
Hey, Rhonda.
Yeah.
Is that a 747?
Looks like a triple,
No. My Canadian Airlines is a 747, and
yeah, I figured
doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's awesome.
So, it weighs like it's solid plastic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But so when you think about vintage, so what I want you to think about is I want you to go to the Worth website, and it's Worth partner. You might have to Google it, Worth with Goodwill, or I'll get you to give David your email. But we did some pretty funky things with clothing, and it was how we took photos of it and how we put it into 3D, where you could turn it and spin it and see the sizing, and our sales are taking off. So that's what I would do with you, is I would say, wow, some of your stuff is really very cool and very collectible. And I think that getting it with that 3D camera, rotational, the one website I saw of you, it was just all flat, and I was kind of scrolling. I couldn't see, around it or see if it was, the wear on it or how vintage it really was. So I want you to think about that.
That's a great point, because a lot of people buy vintage for like the texture and the look and feel of it, and it doesn't come across well online. So
it can. It can. Am I coming back to this group at 1:15, David?
I would love it if you could. I was just about to ask if that was a possibility, because I'm getting some messages from people that are really hoping you are.
Yeah, I will come back because I also have a vintage leather jacket that has the original Winnipeg Jet logo on it. It's never been worn. And yeah, what's that?
Is it for sale? No.
But, you know, so these things are very, very cool. So anyway, I think with your photo, there's great technology out there, and we put it on Etsy for our client, and sales are, you know, doing very well. Where is my Soul Runner? So Soul Runner, I think places is an advantage. From encouraging each other, you know, I really like what you're doing. And I just think this is, yeah, there you are. I mean, people love this. And I think there's look at this. Here's my Eco Plate guy coming onto my screen again. Where's that Eco Plate guy? Drives me crazy, these little pop. But for you, Eco Screen, before I go, I want you to go to a website called Terra 20. So here's your homework over lunch, guys. Max, I'd like you to find Google Worth Goodwill and see if you can find it on Etsy and see how we're doing the rotational camera piece for your clothes. Green Ovation or Ecolab thing, I want you to look at Terra 20. Terra 20 is a brand new store that helps you, it's eco-friendly shopping. So everything is pumps and dispenses, from shampoo, cream rinse to whatever you want to buy. You go in with your containers and you buy your products. And I told them in a conference call yesterday that I would be hanging out with this guy that has eco palm leaves and this eco-friendly flatware, or, you know, reusable, whatever it is. And they said, we'd be very interested in that. So they are going to slowly expand into a franchise model. And I really like this idea. I also like it for the hot sauce company. To dispense your own product in store is very progressively unique. And it lowers your highest input cost, which is the jar and the shipping. So to say, hey, here's a pump, it's hot sauce, take it, pump it, and away you go to the cash register. And I really I think that's going to be the new way of product distribution, is these, let people bring in their own container, pump it full, and off they go. So that's all I got for, well, I got more, but I'm being yanked for my time. So I want to thank you guys all and ladies for sharing your time with me. It's always an honor. I know I owe, oh, I even got my phone ringing. Who did I, oh, Fast Track. Where's Fast Track?
Right here.
Yeah, I see you.
It's a partnership with Aaron and I.
Okay, so I need to talk with you guys at 1:15 or 1:30. I got your app up, fasttrack.app. I saw it once and I can't bring it back up again.
Yeah, it's because I'm currently working on the website. It'll be done by tomorrow afternoon. So it's actually fasttrackapp.ca. There's about 90% of it done if you want to check it out right now.
Okay, fasttrackapp.ca. Okay, is it fasttrack.app.ca?
No, sorry, it's fasttrackapp.ca.
Okay, so when I hit fasttrack.app, I get a different company. If I Google Fast Track, I get a lot of companies that are probably not going to be happy with your name. So
yeah, so Aaron just posted it in the
thank you, Aaron. Got it.
Yeah, so since the website is literally like brand new, some of the numbers on there aren't accurate. Those are just filler numbers, but most of the content on there is 100% ours.
Okay, so one of the things I want you to think about, if and Google Fast Track, because I think I would be worried that you're going to get a cease and desist. There's a lot of people with Fast Track in the transportation business that optimize, and I don't know if that, I believe that's what you're doing, although I only saw your site for a moment. But Fast Track is very popular. So for you to differentiate with a name that is very popular is something I worry about. So I would have a look at that, because I wouldn't want you to go through all that expense and then get a cease and desist because your name can't be is it a registered trademark? Aaron, Omar?
Oh, sorry, Aaron, do you want to answer that one?
I'm not sure.
Did you register it?
We use like we did sign up with a master business license.
So it's not a trademark then.
So you're gonna, I would imagine, put yourself in that other company's shoes. If I saw Fast Track coming out trying to leverage my name and my brand, you're probably going to run into a bit of headwind. I'll look into that in the next hour and a bit. But anyway, you're going to go and have some lunch. You got another speaker coming in. I apologize. Oh, KVR, I'm also going to talk to you. I didn't see any website, so I'd like to find a way I can help you, but I love the lighting business, and I think unique lights, and there's a great opportunity for people to use your product. And then JR Welding, couldn't find you either. So if JR Welding is on here, I'd love to try and help you guys. The people.
I have to, I don't know, you said you're coming back, but I actually have to leave at 1 o'clock today. But I would love to tell you more about what my business is. So.
Okay, why don't you and I and David, why don't we just book a little one-on-one time, maybe like, next week?
Yeah, sure, I would love that.
I can set some things up. We'll have a chat afterward. I'll have a chat with the group, and if there's anybody that wants to do a one-on-one, we can organize that. I have no problem. But I'm gonna let everybody go for a quick break, because I know we have Ubong and our other speakers are sitting in the waiting room. I want to make sure everyone gets a bit of a bathroom break from
sorry.
me. Rhonda, no, don't be sorry.
Thank you very much, Rhonda.
My mind is always blown when you whenever we have an interaction, and I'm sure I was watching everybody on the screen, and you're always just dropping golden nuggets, and this is amazing. We all really appreciate you taking the time and
appreciate it.
Putting so much effort into analyzing everyone's brands.
I know David knows me too well, right? I get going, and you almost just got to yank my photo.
We don't want to, because it's such good information.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, have a great day. I will be back with you around 1:15.
Thank you so much, Rhonda.
Okay,
same Zoom link, so we'll see you then, okay?
Yeah, you bet. See ya.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. I know we're short on
wow.
time, so let's
I just say wow.
Yeah. Everybody enjoyed that? It was good?
I'm sad I'm gonna miss the second portion of it.
Don't worry, we'll get some one-on-one time for you guys. But okay, everybody go take a bathroom break. Let's come back. Let's do 10 minutes. And we'll have Ubong Umo, who will be joining us from Tech Alliance, talk a bit about their services for about 15 minutes. And then the rest of the hour will be James Campbell. He'll be talking with us around B2C sales. Okay, so we'll see you all about 10 minutes.